In 2020, car factories across the world began shutting down not because of war, not because of oil shortages, but because a tiny component no bigger than a fingernail was suddenly unavailable. That component was a semiconductor chip, and its shortage revealed something most people had never thought about. The modern world depends on a small island thousands of miles away, Taiwan. That realization quietly reshaped global trade, and it led directly to one of the most important economic agreements of our time between the United States and Taiwan. To understand why this trade deal matters, we first need to understand Taiwan's unusual position in the global system. Taiwan is not a large country, nor is it officially recognized by most of the world as an independent nation. Yet it produces the majority of the world's most advanced semiconductor chips. These chips are not optional luxuries. They're the hidden brains inside smartphones, cars, aircraft, medical machines, data centers, and modern weapons. Without them, nothing digital works. When chip supplies slow down, entire economies feel it almost immediately. For decades, this concentration of power went mostly unnoticed because global trade ran smoothly. Companies designed products in the West, manufactured them in Asia, and shipped them around the world without interruption. Governments trusted that markets would self-correct and that efficiency mattered more than security. That assumption collapsed during the pandemic. When factories in Asia closed and shipping routes stalled, the world discovered that a single disruption in Taiwan could ripple through every major economy. Prices rose, production stopped, and governments panicked. In Washington, this moment forced a major shift in thinking. Trade was no longer just about cheap goods or competitive markets. It became a matter of national security. The question was no longer whether the United States should protect its supply chains, but how fast it could do so. The answer came through a deeper economic partnership with Taiwan, leading to a trade and technology agreement worth roughly $250 billion. This deal was not designed like traditional trade agreements of the past. Instead of focusing only on tariffs, it focused on control, stability, and trust. Taiwanese semiconductor companies began investing billions of dollars to build advanced chip factories on American soil. At the same time, both sides agreed to share research, protect intellectual property, and coordinate on future technologies like artificial intelligence and advanced computing. In simple terms, the goal was to make sure that the most critical technology on Earth could not be disrupted by politics, conflict, or coercion. But behind this partnership lies an unspoken reality: China. China considers Taiwan part of its territory and has repeatedly stated that reunification is inevitable. At the same time, China depends heavily on imported advanced semiconductors because it has struggled to match Taiwan's manufacturing precision. This creates a dangerous imbalance. Taiwan holds technological power, China holds military and economic pressure, and the United States stands between them, trying to prevent collapse. From Beijing's perspective, the US-Taiwan trade deal looks less like economics and more like containment. Every factory built in America, every agreement signed with Taiwan, reduces China's leverage over the global technology supply. This is why trade has become so politically charged. What once happened quietly in boardrooms now shapes diplomatic tensions and military calculations. This shift reflects a broader historical pattern. In earlier centuries, nations fought over land and trade routes. Later, they fought over oil. Today, the most valuable resource is not physical territory, but technological capability. Semiconductors are the infrastructure of the digital age, and whoever controls them controls economic growth, innovation, and military strength. Taiwan's role in this system makes it one of the most strategically important places on Earth, despite its small size. For ordinary people, this may sound distant, but its effects are personal. The price of cars, phones, computers, and even household appliances is tied directly to semiconductor supply. When chips are scarce, prices rise. When supply chains break, jobs disappear. What governments now call trade security directly affects daily life. This is why the United States treats this agreement not just as economic cooperation, but as a form of insurance against future shocks. History teaches us that trade decisions often shape the world more quietly and more permanently than wars. The Silk Road did not conquer empires with armies, but with commerce. Control of oil reshaped the 20th century. In the same way, control of semiconductor supply will shape the 21st. The US-Taiwan trade deal is one of the clearest signs that global power is reorganizing around technology rather than territory. Looking ahead, this agreement is unlikely to stand alone. More countries are already trying to regionalize supply chains, reduce dependence on rivals, and turn trade into a strategic tool. The world is entering an era where economic alliances form the first line of defense, long before tanks or missiles appear. In this new reality, trade often becomes the opening move in a much larger contest. In the end, this deal is not about headlines or numbers. It is about who controls the foundations of modern civilization. It shows how deeply the past still influences the present, and how today's economic choices will define tomorrow's balance of power. As history has always shown, when trade shifts, power follows and the consequences last far longer than any single agreement. If this story helped you understand how trade quietly shapes the world you live in, like the video, subscribe to Past to Present, and share your thoughts below. Do you think economic power has replaced military power in shaping the future?